Hey, this is Onesto, and today I'm going to show you how I made Be Fine by Madeon into a Christmas song. Christmas is in a couple of weeks, and I felt like learning what makes the song sound so Christmassy. So with the help of this whiskey sour recipe in the description below, I'm going to share with you everything that I learned. So what makes a Christmas song sound so Christmassy? To figure this out, I watched a whole bunch of YouTube videos from different creators. And out of all the elements mentioned, here are the ones that I like the best. If you want to make something sound like Christmas, use a Christmassy chord progression, specifically the one used in All I Want for Christmas. You should definitely use bells of all kinds, like sleigh bells, glockenspiel, tubular bells. Horns are always a good choice to make something sound like Christmas. So are choirs. You can't be afraid to go cheesy when it comes to Christmas songs. And maybe a key change is a good idea. So after gathering all my Christmas building blocks, it was time for me to figure out what electronic music pieces am I gonna add to this Christmas song. To help me out, I listened to a whole lot of Cascade's Christmas album, which is really good, by the way. And the song that I referenced a whole bunch is called This Christmas Night. And from this song, I decided that I wanted to incorporate the following electronic music elements. And my goal for the song was pretty simple. All I wanted to do was write an intro, a verse, a chorus, and then a drop. Just like a half song, not a full one. I just want to get my feet wet into Christmas music. And now it's finally time for the fun part, time to break down my song. Here's how to make a Madeon song sound like Christmas. So a Christmas chord progression. There are really chord progressions that sound very Christmassy. It's weird, but it's just like the chord. There's a chord language inside Christmas music itself. And that typically consists of chords that sound jazzy, some that are diminished, a lot of minors in there, stuff that just sounds bitter and sweet. Bittersweet is like a very Christmas music characteristic. So the chord progression I'm using in this song is taken from Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You. And this is the chords right here. By the way, all the chords I'm going to be playing are in C, but I transpose them up 3 semitones to be in key with Madeon's acapella there. But these are the chords. This is the chord progression right here. So it's a C, C dominant, dominant 7 that is, F major, and then I think this is a D major 7 flat 5. So this chord right here, all these YouTube videos are saying how like much of a big deal this chord is. Like without it, it's way less Christmassy. So if you want something to sound super Christmassy, just use this D minor 7 flat 5. And as I played it, I made sure to kind of give it that cascading sort of feel. I didn't play it all at once. When you kind of play it a bit more, just like imperfect, that little bit of swing than this, it just sounds more nostalgic and melancholic, which is great for Christmas music. So to get that lo-fi kind of detuned, aged sound, I use this plugin called Cassette from Waves Factory. It's something I've been using a lot. It's a whole lot of fun to use. And you can get this on Plugin Boutique. I'm going to have links to all the plugins that I'm like featuring in this song down in the description if you want to check them out. And one last thing, like this preset right here that I call That Rhodes though. This preset's going to be in my December pack. It's free on thisisonesto.com. So if you want it, get it. So this chord progression paired with the Rhodes, the detuned age processing that I have on it, it just makes everything sound really Christmassy. All right, time to move on to our choir pad layer. What I like about this layer is that I think it really does combine the choirs that you hear in Christmas music along with like an electronic, airy kind of synthetic choir and electronic music. So I combined those kind of two worlds, and I think it gave us something that's quite, just balances both the electronic Christmas. There's a lot of layers in this one. There's 4 layers, but all together it just sounds so good. I'll play it for you right now. I want to show you each of these layers, and really quickly, like a rule of thumb that I use for layers is to make sure that each layer is adding something to the whole. Like if you were to mute one of these layers and if it sounds like there's a big piece missing, that's a good sign. That means like that layer is necessary. If you mute something and you don't really miss it, then just get rid of it. It's not really doing much. And you also see that in all my EQs, I have kind of extreme EQs to allow each layer to occupy its own little territory in the frequency spectrum, which is really important when layering because you don't want things to speak and talk over one another. You want them to sing all together, but not sing over each other, but sing together, if that makes any sense. So I have this airy choir layer here. This muted horns, which I think adds like a lot of just bass, low end kind of coolness there. I had this one here is just like a sample, electronic choir sample that I'm just playing all together as chords. I think that sounds really cool. And then I think this is my favorite layer. That's why I call it Better Choir. So there's a couple of things that I'm doing to all these layers together that I think make it really special and worth talking about. The first you'll see is this EQ curve that I'm doing right here on Pro Q3. It seems very unassuming. It's like, hey, like nothing, this doesn't look crazy to me, you know? But here, I'll bypass it. Hear all the extra hiss and high-end air? Yeah, so I got rid of that. I felt like it was too distracting. So what I like to do is darken something if I don't want it to kind of be near the front of the mix. So by darkening it, it's allowing it to sit back like a pad could and should. And the other thing that I think is really cool what I'm doing is I have this little volume shaper from Cable Guy's Shaper Box 2. And what it's doing is it adds, it's just kind of like this volume envelope, volume automation where, here, I'll play it. So you see how as it's playing, the volume is dipping. Without it, it just sounds really straightforward. To me, that felt like too static. It just felt like something being sidechained, and I wanted to almost sound like the choir is sighing, like they're kind of sad because it's Christmassy music, but also happy because it's Christmas music. So you can just kind of hear it slowly dropping and drooping, which I think sounds really cool. All right, let's talk about my kick layers. So my kick layers are really, really straightforward. It's seriously just a single sample of a kick, and I just have it combined with a sleigh bell. So here's the kick. Ooh, how crazy is that? And then it has sleigh bells where I just duplicated up the sleigh bells, pan one hard left, one hard right to kind of give it a wider sounding sleigh bell fill. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I think I do want to point out this. For the sleigh bells, Spitfire Audio has a line called Labs. They're all free, and they have a sleigh bell sample library, which I think is awesome because everything is key track. So that kind of sounded like wish you a Merry Christmas. That was fun. But together with the kick and sleigh bells, we get this. And I liked using sleigh bells that way because I feel like sleigh bells is super cliche. It is cliche in Christmas music, and I didn't want it to feel boring. So by layering with a kick and by like doing a crazy extreme high pass on each of these sleigh bell layers, I just felt like it allowed us to get a bit more of a percussive sound rather than like a sleigh bell sound, just by a little bit. And it just gives the kick a little bit more sparkle and punch. The thing that's really cool that I have going on is something I stole from Cascade, which I noticed that in the first half of his chorus, he had his kick high passed. So the kick sounds like this in his track. So he had like the low ends missing, but that's in the first half of his chorus. In the second half, he brings back in the low end to get that thump back in there. And I thought it was really just a really simple and easy way to make your kick not sound boring all across your chorus. And also just to add another dimension to your chorus. The last thing I wanted to show you is this Siney Melody that was pushing the song more towards that electronic music vibe instead of Christmas, which I think the song needed. And I think it sounds like a sad, happy thing. It's like a smile with sad eyes or a sad mouth with happy eyes. Okay, anyways. This is just a serum patch. Take a listen. Yes, I love that sound. I use it in a lot of my tracks, and this is in the summer pack if you want it. So let me play you this layered melody. Yeah, so I really like this melody for this Christmas song. I think it kind of goes back and forth between like that earnest yearning that's really just all throughout Christmas music. And it sounds like happy and sad, you know, like it's like that smile with sad eyes. And then later in the chorus, I added in some guitar that sounds like this. I had the guitar sit way back in the mix. Yeah, because when it was like too forward, I just didn't like it as much. But when the guitar was pushed back, I was cool with it. You might notice that on this melody here, there's like kind of like this weird sort of delay thing happening, and it's coming from Portal. Here we are. So it's had like a Portal preset on there, and just had it kind of dry. And I think it just kind of had like that perfect, just added like that perfect texture that it just needed. If you want to learn about Portal, I also have another couple of videos explaining all about it. And with those major elements and the help of Madeon's B-Fine Acapella, that's how I made an electronic Christmas song. And when I first heard the song all together, I was a little nervous because it sounded super cheesy and very, very happy. Which is usually not what I like to do, but I had to talk myself into it because Christmas music, there's just permission to be a little cheesy. There's permission to be cliche because it's Christmas music. So now it's time to share it with you. I'm just gonna play this out. You can hear the finished result. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. And I hope that I can see you again in the future later.
It's gonna do me right. The sun rising in my head until I just cannot believe my eyes. And you tell me it's another phase. Doesn't matter if it's real or not. I don't think I've had enough. Make it so fast.